This one over here is pretty good. It's called the Ward-If Coil. So no more Dubious Volley. It's a power weapon. You call it the Ward-If Coil. That's its name.
What's on YouTube? Welcome back to Destiny Tracker. It's Pete TT. So a video just dropped, guys, by Luke Smith. It's called Destiny Support with Luke Smith. A link will be in the description box down below to the entire thing. I highly suggest that you go and check it out. Not only do we get a lot of cool questions and answers, but we find out that Luke Smith is a real person and has a bit of humour to him. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the 20-minute thing. I hope it is something they do more often. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. So first up, guys, a question thrown to Luke was, do Titans feel like walking tanks, hunters like acrobats of death, and warlocks as floating butterflies? Luke's reply to this was, if you want to feel fast on any class, then you want to get armor which prioritizes mobility. If you want to feel like a walking tank, then you'll go into one armor that prioritizes resilience and recovery. And this, guys, goes for any class, which is really good. So in effect, you could have a hunter that is a bit of a tank, or you could have a Titan that is super fast. Okay, we find out later about elemental mods and things like that. We do know from previous articles and things as well that there will be gear modifications. We can see that in game through the beta. Whether or not these will play a part in this as well, we're going to have to wait and see. We're only a few days away from the game now, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting. You know, the fact that we can have a hunter with the same kind of armor stats as a Titan, or we can have a Titan that is, you know, a bit weaker but super quick like a hunter. I think that's really cool. Moving on, how do you think having power weapons instead of both special and heavy affect the PvE endgame? The answer by Luke here to me wasn't exactly straightforward, so what I'm going to do is actually play his answer and then I'll give you my take on it. So yeah, I'll catch you in a second.
It affects the PvE endgame. One of the changes we've made is we have now characters. Previously we've called them majors, which is the word we never wanted you to like have to understand as a player. But any character you're fighting whose health bar is not like the boring, like simple red version, like the baseline version of the unit, any one of those characters that you fight is going to just drop power ammo for you. Suddenly, that creates an interesting game, and it creates a prioritization game when you're playing in something like a strike. By adding this sort of deterministic way of getting ammo, it lets us design experiences. So we do hope that when you're playing the game this fall, you can see that intention. I think ultimately it's going to be super fun for players.
So yeah, it seems to me like this wasn't actually a real answer by Luke, sadly. But we do get the feel that they've actually really thought about this change and how it will affect things. Now, I know a lot of players, including myself, okay, think that this was actually a change made to help with Crucible balance, and I'm personally going to stick to that feeling, okay? But hey, who knows? Maybe there are reasons for these changes that we will find out about come September 6th. So a little bit more waiting and we shall see. Next then, the question put to him was, the elemental mods on elemental weapons makes me think we are able to change damage types. Now, I actually did a video on this before. I will make sure to link that in the on-screen, in the end screen annotation. Luke's answer to this is yes. Now, this time we get actually a really good answer from Luke. The wording, although not exact, went along the lines of, yeah, we want you to be able to look at the Nightfall Strike this week and say, hey, this week it's a solar burn, but my weapons are arc. I need to change them, and boom, at the click of a button, you have the right mods. You can do that. He goes on to say, and I quote, it doesn't mean that you will be able to change all damage types for your exotics. Now, this to me means one of two things, okay? Either one, exotics can't change elements at all, or some can and some can't. Either way, it's a really cool insight to elemental mods. I can't wait to definitely get my hands on them and see how they are going to work. But I do like the fact that they're thinking about these things, you know. One big problem, or some people, it was a big problem in Destiny 1 was like, okay, you get a strike come around and it's got certain burns on it, and it's like, okay, I don't actually have, let's say, any arc weapons, or I don't have any void weapons. I know for me, the big one was void weapons, okay? I very rarely got void weapons. Things like the Thorn Bounty took me forever to do because I was very limited on weapons that I could use, and some of the void weapons I did have weren't particularly good for getting kills in the Crucible. So the fact that we're going to be able to take, you know, elemental mods and swap them around around energy weapons, I think that is super, super cool. But like everything here, guys, you know, this isn't me just giving you the information, it's a discussion. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Next then, something very interesting to me, more so as a Division player. Will there ever be a PTS/PTR on PC? For those of you guys that aren't, you know, on PC, maybe you haven't played the Division, so you don't know what this is. A PTS is a public test server. Luke actually called it a PTR, which is a public test realm. Let me give you his answer, okay? We talked a lot about possibly opening this up to player groups, but we like the idea of surprising you guys. Now, he goes on to say, I wouldn't say never, but I wouldn't say yes. Now, my take on this is twofold, okay? One, I think that a PTS could be very good for PvP balances before they come out, okay? Rather than shipping out a weapon balancing patch that clearly is like over nerfing or under nerfing certain things if they need to fix issues in game. I think a PTS PTR could be very good for helping balance the Crucible before you actually launch it out to millions of players. Possibly the same for PvE, you know, if you're running, if we get a super hard strike, say, that needs tuning, or some weapons are like crazily weak or crazily overpowered and they need tuning, then maybe a PTS PTR could work in balancing those weapons more effectively. However, if you look at, let's say, the Division, where they actually pump new content onto the PTS before it comes out, that I don't think is a good idea. Allowing certain people and not others to be able to go on and play new missions, new strikes, possibly, I wouldn't think they'd put the raid on if they ever did a PTS, but new strikes, new missions, new Crucible maps, things like that, I don't think that that is a good idea. I haven't got behind it on the Division, although I have gone and played it. I was never a fan of them limiting it and not allowing everybody to be a part of those, which of course they struggle to do on console, so it would be limited to the PC. Yeah. Like I say, guys, I'm kind of twofold on a PTS, PTR. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Next then, a very interesting question, one that's, again, kind of touches me a little bit, but kind of doesn't as well. And that was, why remove the Grimoire for Destiny 2? We like lore too, Smith says, and we think the best way for players to experience lore is in-game. Now, I actually agree with this totally to a point. Lore in game is a great thing. I was never personally one to go to Bungie.net and delve into lore, but I understand why the lore masters enjoy it, and I understand why they're a little bit upset that it's being taken out of the game. Basically, guys, I think we're going to have to wait until September to actually see how intensive the lore in-game can potentially be. Or possibly, you know, it might be an extremely watered down version of Grimoire and lore compared to the Destiny 1 version that was available on Bungie.net. I think if the lore in game is very good and it, you know, mimics what we had in Destiny 1, people won't have too much of an issue. However, if we get a very weak version of, you know, lore and backstory to things, then I think people might have an issue. You know, we've got some brilliant lore minds out there. My Name is Bife obviously being one of the bigger ones, if not probably the biggest one. You know, the dude lives on lore. The things he does with the lore and the backstory is absolutely incredible. I don't go to Bungie.net and look up lore. If I want to know something in particular, I just go to Bife's channel and let him explain it to me, because it saves me having to root through, you know, a crazy amount of things online. But again, if it's in game and it's strong and it is good backstory and lore, I don't think the community as a whole, as a wider group, would have an issue with it. But if it is watered down and weak, and then possibly we have an issue where, you know, Bungie, maybe you messed up by taking it out of the game. But again, guys, we'll have to wait and see. Moving on then. Luke was asked about characters. What is your favourite? Now, Luke actually goes on here to talk about all three characters, but he focuses very heavily on warlocks and hunters. So what I want to do is not get this wrong. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for it, but I want to let him explain exactly what he had to say so I don't get it wrong. So again, I'm going to shut up. Let's listen to what he's got to say, and I'll see you in a second.
There's a path in the gunslinger tree that I think is pretty much the best we've ever seen for hunters in PvE. It's called the Way of the Sharpshooter. And the way that it works, each hit of your golden gun can now do precision damage. Okay, so you can critical hit with golden gun. Successive precision hits of golden gun deal more damage. And it doesn't have to be on the same target. So you could hit something with power A and then A+1 and A+2. Now the next thing that it does is each precision hit creates orbs for your allies. So if you're a good golden gun shot and you pride yourself on precision, the Way of the Sharpshooter is the highest orb generation class that I've seen in the game to date. Now, I'm not gonna just like ignore the Warlock either. There's a path for the Voidwalker that I just call the Devour path. And this is a path where the Voidwalker gets to put him or herself into a state. It's called Devour, and when Devour is active, which I can do 2 ways, I can do it by like consuming my grenade, I can eat a grenade, or with a melee kill where you just like bop a guy and kill him. Either of those things will set you into the Devour state. Then any kill will start to heal you. And of course, when your super is full, you get to throw the Nova Bomb, and this Nova Bomb on the bottom tree travels much faster than the Nova Bomb in the top tree that was in the beta that I affectionately call Slova Bomb, but I believe the game calls Cataclysm.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. Pretty cool news about the Voidwalker and the Golden Gun. I definitely look forward to playing all 3 classes. I'm a Titan main. I have been from day 1. Year 1, 3 Titans. Year 2, 2 Titans. Year 3, 2 Titans and 1 Hunter. I had a Warlock at various points for a small amount of time, nothing major. However, in the Destiny 2 beta on the PC currently now, I have been playing as a Warlock and a Hunter quite a bit because, you know, I played the console beta as a Titan for the entire thing, so I wanted to try the other classes. I'm having an incredible amount of time with the Warlock and the Hunter, so yeah, I definitely look forward to being able to play with the other classes and see exactly how, you know, these Devourer states and things like that, the Sharpshooter states actually work. Next, let's talk about some crazy news. Okay, Dubious Volley isn't called Dubious Volley. Luke Smith is basically in this section talking about power weapons and things like that. And he goes on to say, you know, he wants power weapons, some to be good, well, basically all of them to be good, but in certain situations and for different things. And then he goes on to talk about rocket launchers and says there's obviously one rocket launcher that is exceptionally good. It's this thing here. It's not called Dubious Volley, he says. It is called the Wardith Coil. That is the name, not Dubious Volley. It's called Wardith Coil. He says it twice. So yeah, we now know 100%. Well, I say 100%, like, I never know how to take Luke, whether it's seriously or whether he says things jokingly. Like, apparently, according to Luke, it's not called the Dubious Volley, it's called the Wardith Coil. But you know what? I think I kind of, a little bit of me wants to hang on until I actually get one to see what it is called, because we've known it as the Dubious Volley since, what, Taken King? Maybe, but even before Taken King, it was kind of revealed as the Dubious Volley. So, yeah, again, we're going to have to wait and see, guys. Finally, I'm going to wrap up with a question that I can throw at you guys as well. Luke was asked, what weapon are you guys going to miss most in Destiny 2? And personally, my answer matches Luke. We will get to that in a minute. For me and Luke, personally, it is the Fatebringer. Okay, Luke's was exactly the same. The reason the Fatebringer was so kind of special to me, not just because of how good it was, but the fact it took me 21.5 months to finally get a Fatebringer. And then when I finally got one, I actually got a double drop, so I was incredibly happy about that, you know? It's a weapon I absolutely love. It's like, okay, I finally got one. I am going to use this for absolutely anything and everything. And I did. If I went into PvE, I used my Fatebringer for everything. Now guys, I want to throw that question off to you. Out of all of your weapons in your vault and on your characters in Destiny 1, what are you going to miss the most? I genuinely am interested to find out what people are going to miss and why you're going to miss them as well, guys. I think that could be a really good topic, and maybe, you know, the night before Destiny 2 I'll actually come back to this video and I'll look through the comments and we'll have a chat about it just for a bit of fun and see kind of people's different perspectives. But yeah, for now guys, that is going to wrap up the video. I know it's a little bit longer than normal. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you did, please help the channel out, drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you are new. There are of course going to be plenty of Destiny 2 videos coming your way, but for now, Guardians, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Thank you very much as always for watching. Don't forget to go and check out Luke's entire interview again in the description down below. Have a good night guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.